This is Father Louis Skirty with another interview with a very interesting character and wonderful priest, Father Richard Baker, here at St. John Nepomucene. Did I say that correctly?
Nepomucene.
Nepomucene, in the east side of New York, mid-east side, 40s.
60s.
60s. Numbers don't do, I don't do numbers well.
You don't do numbers?
So Jerry always balanced our books at the chapel.
There you go.
We're going to talk about Father's previous ministry. It's definitely integrated into his ministry now, and it is at the Actors Chapel, St. Malachy's in New York City, right in the Broadway area. And just dovetailing that, before we talk about St. Malachy's, talk about Lux New York.
Lux New York. Yeah, we have a very unique ministry here. We are a very unique parish, as I've already mentioned. When I first came here, I went to Slovakia, and the Catholic communications arm of the church there, they have a number of divisions, but they approached me and said, we would love to do something where we have an arm in New York. And so I said that would be great. Because of my own roots in the Actors Chapel and in the media world and such, I said, this is great. I think it's a great idea. So we have here what was called Lux New York, and we have a TV studio here.
That's great.
We have cameras in the church. We air our English and Slovak Mass every Sunday. We have a live taping once a month that goes directly to Slovak secular television.
Wow, great.
And they tape television programs for Slovak Catholic television, as well as outreach to the Slovak American community here in Canada and all of North America, Canada and America. And we've also done little pieces for Facebook in English and in Slovak and subtitles. So I did a little meditations for Advent and Lent. And the newest project is they're actually doing a live show on Sunday afternoons, interviewing Americans involved in the church.
Oh, great.
And they're doing that bilingually. So the interviewer, who is our Anita, is the Lux New York person. She's literally interviewing the person in Slovak and English.
Excellent.
So the person's actually speaking in English, but she's translating right there on
Yes,
the spot.
yes, yes.
So that's a big, it's a lot of effort on her part.
And that's on Lux TV?
Lux, that's on Facebook.
Facebook,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
so it's live, right.
LUX
Yes.
NEWYORK on
Great.
Facebook.
Okay.
But you can see that live on Facebook, and then of course it's archived there, and you can see it.
And last week, well, 2 weeks in a row now, I just happened to be on Facebook in the afternoon, and there's the Mass. It was live. I said, oh, and it wasn't just the Mass; it was the music, the Mass, the beautiful, the people who are running the cameras know what they're doing.
And that's all being run from Bratislava. They're controlling the cameras from Bratislava.
Stop.
Yep, isn't that amazing? That's technology today.
Modern
Yep.
me. That's
Yeah,
great.
so that's all being done from. So we have the Slovak Mass 10:15, and the noon Mass is aired on Facebook, which has really been amazing because we have a number of our own parishioners who can't get out to Mass.
Yes.
And I'm amazed at these senior citizens. They're on their computers and they're watching
They
the
love,
Mass.
absolutely.
They're like so happy that they can watch Mass from their church.
Yes, that's beautiful.
And that's really neat. I'm
Excellent.
really happy about that we're able to accomplish that.
It's 21st century evangelization.
Yeah, it's 21st century evangelization.
Okay, let's go back to the Actors Chapel.
Yeah.
How long were you there, and tell me all about it, and when was it started?
I was there for blessed 12 years. It was really great.
Great.
I was teaching at St. Joseph's Seminary, and I was actually assisting in a parish in Yonkers because I enjoyed my time in the seminary full time, but I really am a parish priest.
Okay.
So I said, listen, I'll do anything you want in the seminary, but I really need to be in the parish.
Wow, that's
So
great.
I taught in the seminary while I was assisting in the parish as well. And the time that Cardinal Egan was really looking to say, well, it's time really that you should be a minister of parish as well, he saw the reality of the Actors Chapel on the verge of really disappearing.
Oh.
So he made the decision that I should go down there and save the place. So because my degree is in music from Catholic University, church music, as a musician, certainly I had a connectivity with the entertainment world, at least had integrity, and understanding of them.
And concelebrating at the All Souls Day Mass here, Your singing just blew me out of the water. I loved it. It was
Thank
great. I mean, you incorporated it so beautifully into the whole liturgy, and it made it so
It really
sacred.
does. As the church has always said, that, music enhances the word and makes the word more profoundly proclaimed. And if it's done right, unfortunately in the church, music is so used as performance,
Yeah.
and not as the tool to carry the word.
Right,
That's our biggest
right,
problem in
right,
the church when it
right.
comes to music. So I think you've witnessed that I use it as a tool of communicating the word,
Beautiful.
and the people feel very at ease of
Connected.
responding back.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes,
And
yes.
then,
They
and
respond.
then,
Yes.
then they feel they can participate. And that was what really happened at St. Malachy's. So when I arrived there, it was a really sad situation. There was not many people there. But by the
Describe
grace
where
of
it's
God,
located.
It's actually on 49th Street between Broadway and 8th. So it's right there in the theater district.
where it's all happening.
Its history is it was just one of those churches that were built just to have mass. That area was so highly concentrated back 100 and plus years ago of Catholics. They just needed places to have mass.
Yeah.
That was built with an upper church and lower church, no church hall. It didn't even have a rectory in the first couple of years.
Wow.
And so over the years, it gained a purpose when Broadway, the theaters, moved from Herald Square to Times Square. And the priests there saw a purpose for themselves, and they went right to the theaters. And they turned the lower church into what they call the Actors' Chapel. And they dedicated it unofficially to St. Genesius, the patron of actors.
All right. Oh, with the mask. Yeah.
And then it became a place where famous actors, then called it their home. Rudolph Valentino's funeral was from there.
Whoa.
And it's considered the first mass media event. And many famous people over the ages went there. They even had a midnight mass on Saturday night, because obviously back at the time you couldn't have mass any earlier than obviously for Sunday.
Right.
They petitioned the Archdiocese to have it at midnight. So when the theaters all emptied out,
They go to church.
they all go to church. That lasted until about 1974. As you well know, Times Square, everything decayed, and it turned into the cesspool of New York. And so that mass disappeared. And of course, the obligation for the mass, wasn't taken as seriously also. But when I arrived there, one of the first things that the stagehands, they came to me and says, "Hey, Father, can we bring back the midnight mass?"
Whoa.
So I
isn't
said,
that
"Well, that's a
great?
really good idea." I said, "Probably midnight's not the opportune time."
Isn't it?
So we talked about it, and we decided 11 o'clock would be good.
Yeah,
In terms
theater's
of when
finished,
the theater
yeah.
gets out and how much time it would take for the community to finish up the theater to get to the church.
I mean, you want to be awake after all.
And so I was like, okay, we did it. We established the 11 o'clock mass, and we brought that back.
And they still have it.
And they still have it. Yeah,
Great.
I'm sure my successors are like going, "Why did he do this to us?" But and it's the actors' mass. It's the stage mass. And it was always funny that when I have the rare opportunities to go to a show on a Saturday night, that I would go and the ushers would be, "Hey, Father's here. Father Baker's here."
Isn't that great?
And I'm like, I have the 11 o'clock mass. It was, I guess it was Billy Elliot. And I was like, "I got the 11 o'clock mass. Do you think I'll be able to get out of here in time?" "Don't worry, Father. We'll get you out." Well, literally, they finished that show, and an usher grabbed me up the aisle. It was still dark, everybody's applauding. Threw me to another usher, who brought me to another usher, and then threw me out a door. And I ran to the church, got vested, came out to start the mass, and all those ushers were in the pew going,
Right there.
waving at me. That was as those special moments,
That's wonderful.
And it was a wonderful. That mass also became like the kids' mass, because when Matilda and Mary
Annie,
Poppins and Anne,
yeah.
all those kids would come to mass.
Isn't that great?
And it was wonderful because they would bring all their non-Catholic friends to mass too.
What an education.
And I would have all these kids serving that mass. It was really wonderful.
That
was
excellent.
one of the great outreaches of that. But the parish itself really did reflect that. And there were many people, of course, in the acting community that would grace our presence. The two people that had no problem ever in me talking about it was Martin Sheen and Mario Lopez.
Oh, God.
And
wonderful.
they were always present there. And my cousin, Father Donald, he would, after the family was there on Easter Sunday, and he would stay for the 6 p.m. mass. And he leans over to me and says, "Is that Mario Lopez taking the collection up?" I said, "Yes, thank God, it'll be a good collection."
Little influence.
Yeah, love it. As
And
he's
you gotta
smiling
use
there
it.
with those dimples,
Yeah,
saying thank
yeah,
you.
yeah,
There's just
yeah.
like you go,
Whatever you want.
here's my wallet.
That's great. Did you implement any musical or theatrical events there at the church?
Well, our music program was superb, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because I always have the best musicians, best musical directors working for us. So specifically Father George Drance, an amazing Jesuit priest who is a professor at Fordham University. He is a director, a playwright, and an actor himself. And proudly, he's also Eastern European. He's Ukrainian. And he came on board to work at the parish a little bit, at least as a weekend associate. But then he also started doing things with the acting community, like offering days of recollection, as well as doing an outreach to help
wonderful.
polish, the actors' craft. And he would hold workshops and things, and he still does.
Really?
And he's still there. He still serves the liturgies there, and helps out at the parish. So he became that person as associate of the parish. And Dave Dwyer of Busted Halo,
Yeah.
he's a Paulist father. He was also helping me there at the parish.
Great.
I had great priests with me.
Wonderful.
I was the only priest of the parish. I ran the whole place myself. But I had great priests that came and worked with me, at least with the liturgies and such, that were just wonderful presence.
You see, and you're not intimidated by another great priest.
Oh, not at all so.
You see, there's so many.
Thank God I would have those great priests around.
There's so many parishes that if you preach well or you're outstanding, your personality's out of the box, they don't want you.
Oh, that's sad.
That's sad. I mean, come on, this is evangelization.
I'm so happy to have those guys because they're great preachers. I'm okay, but they are awesome.
Excellent.
They're fine fine preachers, and they would be great because they would be the ones that really could do Holy Weeks and Christmases and I would
true.
enjoy it because I would be nourished. I had the opportunities to be able to celebrate the liturgy, and they would preach, and I would be able to have a great homily. You know what I mean?
Great.
I really
That's
enjoyed
true.
that
We don't
very
get fed that much.
We don't get fed that much.
Very often when I travel, I sit in the pews because I want to experience it.
Oh, you're very daring.
Sometimes
To go
it's,
to liturgy.
sometimes
Yeah,
it's
that's
very
tough.
disappointing.
That's
Sometimes I want to get up and say,
Yeah.
I can't believe you're saying that, but I don't. I just,
Musically, liturgically, that's very hard.
Yeah, it is.
I really don't take that chance because I get too frustrated.
That's great. The last time I was there, I think it was around All Souls Day. They were presenting a requiem. I don't know whose requiem. One of the requiems. Is that common to do performances there?
Oh yes, we had a great concert series at St. Malachy's. We had choirs that would come from all over the world to perform there. We had a great relationship with a company that really they would provide an experience for schools. They're basically public schools that they would have workshops for them. They would get Broadway performers to work with these kids. There were choirs or bands or orchestras or drama clubs, and that they would then come and perform at St. Malachy's. And I have to tell
Wonderful.
you, it was one of the great experiences. We had one school that came from California, and the choir directors taught them Old Slavonic, and so they were saying Rachmaninoff.
Stop. Oh, wow.
And they came every year, and they sang at Mass, public high school.
Isn't that beautiful?
And it hit the Board of Education that they were singing at a Mass in New York City, and they were going to prevent this from happening. Well, the people revolted so much, the Board of Education backed down from it.
Good.
Because they were like, this is a famous actor's chapel, and what that's a, and they backed down.
Good.
Because the experience was so, they were just so affected by it. And I, of course, made a big deal with them. And, of course, my background being Orthodox, was what I was originally before I became Catholic, that they came because their own experience of learning Old Slavonic and my background and the Actors Chapel and me being a musician. And it was just a wonderful connectivity.
Perfect storm.
I was amazed these public schools wanted to come and they wanted to sing at Mass. They wanted to sing Mass.
They weren't performing, they were celebrating.
And
that's wonderful.
And all these different faiths. And that's what I thought was so beautiful, that they weren't intimidated. They weren't, oh, I'm offended. And I used to say, okay, let me hear all the religions and who's have no religions at all.
Yeah.
And we were wonderful to all be together.
Great.
And nobody was. Oh, it was just wonderful. The
God
Lord
bless
blessed them immensely. So there was such great variety at the Actors Chapel. It was
You are filled with the Holy Spirit. You really are.
Well, it's amazing what God can do with the weak and the limited.
We did a good job with you.
Yeah, I guess I'm just allow it to happen, and that's it. Bless be God.
You're the instrument. This has been Father Louis Skirt, and I told you it would be entertaining and interesting with Father Richard Baker here at St. John's Church in East Art, Manhattan, talking about a previous ministry, and a beautiful ministry, the Actors Chapel. You'll be back. We'll be back, and we're going to get another view from Father's perspective of the church in Manhattan. We don't do that too often on our Friends of the Word, so that'll be a very eye-opening experience. This has been Father Louis Skirty. Let me hear from you. FatherLouSkirty@hotmail.com. God bless you. Thank you, Rich. Bye.